thing on our agenda today was looking at the assignments for this week. Okay, so this is my presentation from this morning. So some of these things we won't need, but like we don't have to have jobs for a video. So the first thing we're going to look at is our norms. I kind of figured out there's three main areas that I think we should do so that our online classes can be successful. So I think we need to be safe. We need to be responsible, and we also need to be respectful during our online classes. So we're going to look at each one of those in kind of examples of that. The first one being safe. If we're being safe in our NTI classes, that means we're logging in using our school account. I will never ask you to do anything that uses your personal email or your personal accounts. Every time you log into something for NTI, it should be with your school account. The second thing that will help us be safe is to make sure that we don't give out any login information. We don't give out any personal information. Okay, so for instance, we don't need to be talking about our address or our phone number during our online experiences. And that goes probably for inside and outside of class, right? That helps keep you safe. Also, please don't share your school login information with anybody. You might think, oh gosh, I can give my best friend my stuff. It'll be fine. And that's great while you're still best friends. But let me tell you some things that have happened in the past. I have had students who've given out their login information to other students, and those students who were their friend at the time ended up getting into a fight, and then we're using login information to kind of get back at each other. So that's not a safe thing for anybody. And you want to keep your school login information personal, okay? The second topic or school norm is being responsible. What that means in NTI is several things. One, check your email. Check it daily. This is a life skill you're going to need in your future. Trust me. You want to check your email. You want to see, did any of your teachers send you anything? It'll give you messages from Google Classroom when you have new assignments or if comments have been made on any of your assignments, if grades have been released. So check your email. I also send out information through email to all of my students periodically. You also want to be responsible by turning your assignments in on time. This will make life easier for you and for me, okay? When people start turning in things late, honestly, it gets tricky for me to keep up with all of it. And that makes me grumpy, and nobody wants a grumpy teacher. Just trust me on that one. It's better for all of us, all right? And plus, if you don't turn your assignments in on time, I contact your parents or guardians, okay? Keep that in mind. The next thing on the list is emailing me if you have questions. If you ever have questions or if you ever want to contact me, email me, all right? Please do that over sending me a private comment on Google Classroom. What happens is this. I have over 100 students, okay? If I turn my notifications on for Google Classroom, I will get a separate email every time any student turns in any work, okay? Anytime a student gives me a private comment, I would also get an email notification. So let's think about this. Last week, you all had 3 assignments for this class. That would have meant that I alone would have had 300 emails for students turning in work, and then plus any comments that might be made to me. So I have to turn that notification off because I would miss important things in my email if I didn't. So please do not use the private comments on Google Classroom to contact me. Use email instead, okay? Another thing about being responsible is checking your student portal. That will show you if work has been graded. I do have graded work in there as of right now. It's also how you see your schedule. Okay, so check your student portal. And lastly, go to your live classes. That's being responsible. Okay. If you don't go to live classes, it's going to be hard to follow what's going on for your grades. Okay. And that leaves us with the last thing, which is being respectful. This means turn your cell phones off when you are on class. I should follow my own advice. So mute yourself when you're not talking during a live class. It's really helpful for me, if you put your video on when you're in the class, because I'm super afraid that we're gonna end up going back to school in person, and even though I have been teaching you for the last 6 weeks, I'm not going to know who you are and what your name is. I know your names. I know the things you've sent me, but I need a face to put with it. So please show your face on our live classes. Lastly, be nice to your classmates. Be nice to your teacher. Okay? We all know that. We've been practicing that for a while, right? So those are the 3 things: safe, respectful, responsible. All right. Now, okay. Okay, so the second thing that we're going to look at today is your assignments for the week. There's 2, okay? So let's kind of take a look at those. I'm going to exit out of here. And we're going to go to 706 just as an example. And actually, my directions for the assignments today are different from what my classes saw live today, because I realized there was a little problem with it. But I'm going to click on the classwork tab, and I'm going to go down to NTI 831, because that's this week. It's really just, you can show all the topics and scroll down to 831, or you can do it the way I just did. But anyway, let's take a look. And I'm actually going to look at the pre-unit assessment first. For this assessment, it's really just letting me know what you know about our first unit, which is scale drawings. So we'll be kind of exploring that world. And from there, I will be able to know if we need to work on some skills before we do some of our lessons. So basically, you're going to click on this link. It's going to take you to the pre-assessment. You're going to answer the questions. You will get 10 points if you just do the work. Doesn't matter if you got them right or wrong. Just do them and you get the points. Okay? So that's the pre-assessment. The other is a 7.11 lesson called What Are Scaled Copies? And let me explain this first, since this is our first lesson. 7.11, what that means is we are in grade 7. We are in unit 1, lesson 1. So that's all those numbers are. And these directions are a little bit more intense, if you will. So here's what's going to happen. It is our first lesson for illustrative math. We're going to be looking at what are scaled copies. Okay? The way this program is set up is that you're going to try it out on your own first, and then we come together and talk about it, which is what we're going to do on Thursday. We're going to talk about this first lesson. So it's super important for you to have done this lesson before Thursday for our live lesson. Okay? So here's what we've got. The first thing you have to do is click on, I'm going to view assignment here. Whoops. Okay, so you're going to click on the Geogebra link below. The Geogebra link is this. It's really just going to take you to a screen that says this. You have to enter your class code. The class code is back in the directions, step 2. Type in the code. So it's this right here. I would literally copy and paste. So little trick I use, I do highlight when I want to copy, hit Control, hold it down, C. Then I would go back to this page and paste, which would be a Control V. And that clearly didn't work. So, you know what? I don't think I actually copied it. So, all right. You just hit Control C, come back, Control V. And there we go. I did it that time. And then you'll hit join. And then it's going to prompt you to put your name in it. Please put your first and last name. Super important. Okay? First and last name. From there, you will then be able to answer the questions for that activity. And let me see if I can give you an idea. Of course not. The activity, let's see here. Let's go ahead. This is not going to look the same as what yours is because I'm in teacher mode. But here's basically what's going to happen. It's not going to look like this, okay? But you're basically going to read the directions for each one. You're going to explore. So like on this one, you're exploring. You're going to move these little pictures around and see how does it change from the original picture, right? And then you're going to answer the questions, right? So like this, how does it change? How is it same or different from the original? Then you're going to look at what is scaled copies. Or which ones do you think are scaled copies? You might know what a scaled copy is already. You might have an idea. You might have no idea. Answer the question by what you are thinking, okay? So for instance, I know the word scaled. It reminds me of something like a scaled model. So for instance, if I go to Paris one day and I go see the Eiffel Tower and I go to a gift shop, I could buy a scale model of the Eiffel Tower. It looks exactly like the Eiffel Tower, but it's super little, right? I bet that's a scale copy. I don't know, just thinking. So you're going to answer all these questions about what you think scaled copies are, okay? When you're finished, it will ask you to turn it in, all right? Don't need to be on that. So it'll ask you to turn it in. You're going to hit the turn in button and it should automatically record that in Google Classroom as turned in. Let's hope. I've never used Geogebra, so we'll see. If you feel super frustrated and you don't know how to answer the questions and you have to know right away, you can watch these videos to help you. So there's 2 videos. It'll help you figure out what a scaled copy is. Okay? I am going to grade you using a rubric. The rubric here is this. I'm going to click on it. Here's how the rubric works. The actual assignment is worth 10 points. 5 of those points are going to come or are based on the completion of your assignment. Did you answer all the questions? That's it. If you answer all the questions, you automatically, the lowest grade you could possibly get on the assignment is a 5 out of 10, just by answering, okay? Now, if you answered less than all of them, you might not get 5 points. You might get 3 or 1 or 0. If you didn't do anything, you're going to get 0, right? So that's for completion. You're also getting graded on effort. So for instance, this just says, the work shows that the student was thinking about the assignment and not making up random answers or copying work. Okay. Teachers have a pretty good eye for when students are actually thinking about the work. So when it asks you, which ones do you think are scaled copies and why? Oh, I think J is a scaled copy because, and I write my thinking. Doesn't have to be right. It just has to be, show me that you were thinking. Okay. So none of this is based on what you get correct or incorrect. It's about, did you try your hardest? Did you show some effort when doing this? And I think that's it for your assignments this week. So let's get that lesson in by the end of, or by Thursday, before you meet with me on Thursday. You're going to do better. You're going to understand things a little bit more if you've at least tried the lesson out. Okay. Don't forget about your pre-unit assessment. These are all technically due Monday at 4. So let's get that assessment in by Monday at 4. Again, technically, the lesson's due by Monday at 4, but you'll benefit if it's done before Thursday. And in review, we're going to make sure when we're on our NTI lessons, we're being safe, we're being responsible, and we're being respectful. Please email me if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing y'all later. Adios.